Welcome to this week's What's for Dinner video. My name is Ashley. I'm going to be showing you 3 different meals I made this past week. I don't always follow recipes exactly, but if you're interested, I've linked some similar recipes down below. So the first dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made some chicken tacos Dorados, which are just fried tacos. I'm not too sure. So I started off with my chicken breast. I just cooked a couple chicken breasts in my Instant Pot, and now I just shredded that up. I'm going to season with my Mexican seasonings, taco seasoning, cumin, garlic salt, some lime juice, onion powder. So this will be the filling for my tacos, so I want to make sure I shred it up really nicely. So I want to make sure that the chicken doesn't dry out, so I'm just going to throw in a little bit of that liquid from the Instant Pot and some cheese. Then I will get started assembling my tacos. So to make these, you want to make sure you soften your tortillas. So I just did with a little bit of water, and then I threw that in the microwave and warmed it up for 30 seconds to a minute. Next, I'm just going to fill each taco with this mixture. I don't need to add any extra cheese because I did add cheese to the chicken. So next I have a pan heating up with a little bit of oil on about medium high. I'm going to wait until that gets nice and hot, and then I'm going to drop each taco in. You really want to be careful to place them down. Don't burn yourself, but also make sure they stay closed. So I just let this cook on the one side until they were nice and browned, and then I would flip them. You have to be very careful with flipping them so you don't burn yourself. So once they were done, I would just pick them up and drain off the excess oil out of the sides. You want to make sure you do that so you don't bite down into super hot oil. It also keeps everything nice and crisp. So then I just repeated the process for all of my tacos. This is such a simple but very yummy meal that I love to make. You can also kind of control how crispy you want your tacos. The more you let it fry, obviously the more crispy they will be. I do like mine super crispy though. So you can't eat yummy Mexican food without fresh guacamole. So of course I'm going to make some guacamole. I'm using I think 3 avocados because I had 3 that were going to go bad. But it's fine, we ate it all with chips in our tacos. So I just like to make a quick homemade guacamole just using some onion powder, garlic salt, lime juice, and pepper. So this is how everything looked when it was done. I just topped the tacos with some queso fresco, lettuce, and guacamole. These were so good. The next dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made a creamy pesto Alfredo chicken lasagna. So I'm starting off with my pesto Alfredo. For this recipe, I'm going to use jarred Alfredo because this holds up better in the oven because it will be baked. So I'm just going to mix 1 jar of Alfredo of your choice and a container of some pesto. I'm just going to mix that all together and combine it. So of course I'm going to add a little bit of my own stuff. I'm going to add some garlic salt, some Parmesan cheese, and then I also added in a little bit of minced garlic. So next I'm going to get my broccoli all prepped while the chicken is cooking in my Instant Pot. I'm just going to season my broccoli with some Cajun seasoning, garlic salt. So once my chicken was done and all shredded up, I went ahead and assembled my lasagna. So I'm just spraying the edges of this pan, and I'm just going to spread the pesto Alfredo on the bottom first just to make sure it doesn't stick. I am using oven ready lasagna noodles. This is my first time trying this. This is how long they were, so it's just gonna have to work. So next I'm just going to begin layering. So I'm just going to spread the pesto Alfredo on the noodles and then spread out the chicken that I cooked. I'm just going to repeat that same process. I actually had a lot more sauce than I thought, so this easily could have done a full 13 by 9 dish. So for the last layer, I just put on the lasagna noodles, the pesto Alfredo. I did as much as I possibly could. This was super saucy, and then I just topped it with some more Monterey Jack cheese. This went in the oven at 375 until it was nice and bubbly. So this is how everything looked when it was done after it had set and we cut our lasagna. This was so good, and I can't wait to make this again. The last dinner I'm going to be showing you is just an easy, simple dinner. I just made some pork chops with mashed potatoes and broccoli. So I'm just going to start off with my potatoes. I'm just going to cut them up into small cubes, that way I can get them boiling. I am using gold potatoes for my mashed potatoes. I love these potatoes when I want to make a nice creamy mashed potato. So while those were boiling, I went ahead and got started on my pork chop. I am only making one because I personally don't like pork chop. So I'm just going to season this with my garlic salt, onion powder, Cajun seasoning, and some pepper. So next I'm going to work on my mashed potatoes. So I'm just taking a potato masher and I'm just going to mash them as best as I can. I'm going to add in half a stick of butter to this, and then I will add in some heavy whipping cream. If I had some sour cream, I would have used that as well. So next I'm just going to season my mashed potatoes. I'm using some garlic salt, pepper, dried parsley flakes, and some onion powder. So next I'm going to work on my broccoli again. I'm just going to season with some garlic salt and some pepper. So lastly, we are going to cook up my pork chop. This was a very thick pork chop, so it did take a while to cook. So I have my pan set on a little over medium, so I'm just going to cook this up until it's nice and brown on the one side, and then I will flip it. What I like to do when I have meat is after I flip it off the one side, I like to cover it with a lid. That way it just helps keep the moisture but also cook the inside. So next I'm just going to toss this around and get the sides nice and browned as well. So once it was at the temperature that I desired, I just went ahead and let it rest for a little bit, and then I plated it. This is how everything looked when it was done, just a nice comfort meal. Thank you so much for watching this week's What's for Dinner video. Make sure you come back next week for another one.